Hello everyone, welcome back to the Time Rocker YouTube channel. Today on Learn from the Pros, we're going to be focusing on the Ryu versus... Thank you. Versus the...
Stop it! Don't open that door!
Thank you guys for the Ryu versus Wesker matchup. Focusing both on Wesker's Dark Destruction and Ouroboros hero art to see how we deal with this, or how I deal with this, and what you need to do to overcome what is... really Ryu's most dangerous matchup you can possibly face, that even with a good hand could struggle with. So I'm going to be detailing two matches that I did here, going through the first one completely, because both matches you're going to play roughly the same aside from one very important part. So here in the first match, we're going to go ahead and just take a look at what's in my hand right now. I have a guy available to me who has Rush, so he's really nice to play up front for many battles against Wesker over here. And then also we have the Laggy Cruise, really nice card as well, does 3 damage on drop. Axel, not so useful against Dark Destruction, can be useful, can be good at times though. Dragon Lord's Judgment, very nice card at times as well, sometimes can clutter your hand. And one of my new favorite additions actually here at the very end that I've fallen in love with against Wesker is Lady. Now here's the reason why I've fallen so much in love with Lady. Currently in the current meta right now in Season 2, most Weskers aren't running very many spike removal cards, which basically what that does is any unit with 2 or less attack gets removed from the field. So while yes, Lady is a 7 cost card, most Weskers aren't running this. Now the reason why Lady ends up being so good is not only is it because when you drop her, she does 6 damage across the board on your enemy's side, but because of her extremely high health, it is very, very hard for Wesker to remove it, because naturally speaking, until Wesker starts getting a lot of revenge units, Lady can just really have her way on the field for a good while, and that's extremely useful because Ryu is going to need to keep his units alive as much as possible, because he needs to just keep so much pressure on Wesker in this matchup. Normal Ryu play, you kind of chill back, hang out, play a little defensive, and just play on reaction. Whereas what you kind of have to do in this matchup with Ryu is you have to go back and forth constantly between applying pressure with rush units and also removing cards off the field and dropping them as fast as you can to keep your units on the field and remove Wesker's and just give him no chance to even really drop much and keep it on the field. You have to have complete board control the entire match, and Shinku Hadouken is going to be a great tool for that. Dark Destruction, kind of annoying. You do want to play around it a little bit, so once that gets up, you do kind of want to try to play a little more defensive for a minute until you can get a bit of an advantage there, because if you drop things, say like an Overdrive Ostrich, who is a really nice card, 2/7 with Rush, that can be removed instantly, so you do have to be aware of that. Same thing with a BB Hood, who will at least get some value out of when you drop her, but definitely want to keep units alive as much as possible, so having him use that on units that have been bodied already or about to die is the best case scenario, and that's what you want to try to force. So let's go ahead and look at the match here. He goes ahead and drops a standard Vial, nothing fancy there, that's pretty standard play, and so I'm just kind of sitting here waiting out what I want to play. Now let me tell you the reason why I dropped the Lady in the middle. I am not at all concerned for my health. I know that until late game, Wesker really can't damage me. My goal is to deal as much damage as I can to Wesker, so I play in an off lane here. That way my Lady is uncontested regardless, doesn't take any damage from this Vial. The second reason is I had already had an Axle in my hand. Well, when I drop this Axle, it's going to deal 1 damage to the Vial and remove it from the field. So by playing Lady in the center space here, what I'm able to do is, yeah, I'll take the 3 damage, but what I'll do is on the next phase here, before the Vial can get an attack across, I'm going to be able to drop my Axle and deal 1 damage and just completely remove him and never interact with that card at any point in the game. So that's going to give me a huge advantage. And like I was saying, right now, unless Wesker has a nice card to deal with this Lady, that Lady's about to tear him a new one. So as you can see, Wesker dropping the 4 costs at the beginning means he can't really play much right away. He goes ahead and drops another Vial. And again, see, he has to play a 4 cost card just to defend this one. So now he's spent 8 mana, and I've spent, let's see here, I've spent 10. So he spent 2 less mana than I have. However, He's really only going to have one unit up on me, and I'm going to have a full health unit once these two clash here twice. And I'll be able to, again, I have another Axle in my hand, so I'll be able to remove it instantly, giving me 2 cards on the field, because other than Tyrant, Wesker really just isn't going to, and there we go, there's Tyrant. Other than that, he won't have any other cards. So now if we look at this, Wesker's now at 12 mana. He's spent, and I've spent 13. I've spent one more mana than him. However, I have a unit on the field and he doesn't. So for him to now match me in any way, he's gonna have to blow at least, if he pulls that Tyrant Revenge, 2 more mana. So now I'm already up ahead. I have a unit on the field and I'm able to start applying some pressure here. Again, I do want to play pressure, but I also have that Laggy Cruise and I want to utilize it to the best of my ability. And also with this Dread King Rathalos in my hand, this is a very important card you want to pay attention to. So in this matchup, it's very, very important you pay attention to the mana that Wesker has. Because if you realize, okay, he's just dropped 3-4 things, he's got no mana left, you can go ahead and drop that King Rathalos if you're able to, and he will just absolutely wreck the entire field, hoping, as long as that Wesker doesn't have like a Just Desserts or some way to remove it right away. So that's why you want to wait to try to get as much mana as you can before you drop it. Best case scenario is watch when Wesker drops cards such as the Bishamon here, which costs 4 MP, or anything like that Vial, anything that costs 4 MP, because sometimes you see him drop something that's 4, something that's 3. That means he just spent 7 mana to get some cards out. That means he's not going to have any other MP, chances are. Because you got to think of it this way, he just dropped a 4 cost card, and now if we were at about even MP like I was saying earlier, if he dropped 4, that means right now he's roughly at about maybe 2.5 MP. So that tells me, okay, if he drops another unit by the time he gets up to 4, because this card will die here, I could actually drop my Rathalos, and there's nothing he can do about it for a good while, for at least a whole round. So I'll be able to kill probably 2 units with that Rathalos, which is very great value. I decided to go ahead, however, and drop the Laggy Cruise, because the reasoning for that, Laggy Cruise does 3 damage to the Bishamon, who had 6 health, but on attack, Bishamon loses 1 health. So in colliding with that, I go ahead and get the free kill, and again, I have board control here with the unit on the field completely untouched. Very important. Keep units as free as you can keep them. Now he goes ahead and plays the Spreading Infection card here, and what that's going to do is going to put 3 zombie units on the field, so kind of an annoying card. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to let it sit for the time being. And he goes and he makes the smart move, removing a card completely. That is what you want to do there. I just wait out, see if he's going to do anything. I go ahead and drop Forest Spare. Now the reason why I drop Forest Spare here is because, yeah, Forest Spare is going to die, but what will happen is he'll do 1 damage to everything else, and I have nothing else on the field. So unfortunately, I didn't quite get the cards I needed to be as aggressive as I would have liked, and to be safe as well, because he was dropping a lot of cards that aren't weak, like Vial and Bishamon. So they're good cards, very powerful, low cost, but they do come with a drawback, obviously. So unfortunately here, we can back up a tad. I didn't quite get what I wanted. I was hoping to get just one damage on this unit here, and then 1 damage, and then maybe a little bit split across here. Unfortunately, what ended up happening, I did 4 to the middle card only, so absolutely nothing happened here. I got pretty boned on that, unfortunately, so that didn't quite work out for me. Had that worked out for me and I did 1 up here, and then say even just 1 here, 1 here, it would have been a great play, which actually would have put me at an even greater advantage, because I would still have my Forest Spare up, which didn't work out, unfortunately. So he goes ahead and drops the Cerberus. I know right now, likely he's got about 2 MP, 3 MP, not a whole lot, and my BB Hood will win that matchup. Now, we're going to take a look at what I do here, because this is where I really need to start getting ahead, because he's already used his Dark Destruction. I drop my guy here right in front, because what's going to happen is this unit's going to hit my guy. My guy is going to survive, and with Rush, will hit to the face of Wesker here. And then I pop Shinko for a couple reasons. There's multiple reasons actually behind my timing on this. So I drop it. I drop guy first, so that way he tries to react to the guy if he has a removal card or anything like that. Then what I do is I pop the Shinko on the card in the middle, so that way 1, BB Hood doesn't get it, and then 2, what's going to end up happening is if he does have a removal card that he was trying to use possibly on my guy, he's now gonna lose his finger or the tap on that card, and it's likely not in his possession anymore, and he can't touch it, which means this zombie card here is 99% chance gonna run into my guy, and he won't be able to stop it before this unit dies. So there was multiple reasons for that timing. So not only will I get damage here from BB Hood, I'll remove a card from the field, 2 cards will be gone, and I'll have up 2 cards on the field, which is very important right now. And this will allow me to just sit back and do nothing. Considering, let's look at my hand here. So, looking at my hand, I really don't have a whole lot of options as far as dropping units to do damage. So, I have a Guy, which is Rush. I have a Overdrive Ostrich, which is Rush. I have Dragon King's Judgment here, which is just some action card with some good field damage. Not really useful currently, and a lot of times not useful that much in this matchup at all. And then I have a Ryu, Fate-Defying Ryu. Good in this matchup, however, I need to be able to get things like my Chain Fire or Headshots, other action cards that are low cost to get some value out of this Ryu, because as he is right now, he's not too scary. And then obviously the Dread King Rathalos, always a good card. If you can play it against a Wesker, very, very dangerous for him to have to deal with that. So as you can see, I'm just taking my time, doing absolutely nothing. And now I have 3 cards on the field, so I can sit here and go, okay, this card cost 1, this card cost 5, or 4, I'm sorry, 4, and he dropped this card. So how long ago, since he dropped that card, how much mana have I gained since he dropped that card? So I removed this card here. So we can count, so this is how you can count how much mana he has. So right now I'm at 3.5, and he drops a 4 cost. By the time he drops this vial here, I've now gone from 3.5 to about 6.5, right? So that means I gained 3 mana, which means he spent 9 mana here altogether for all these cards on the field. So by the time he dropped this, and this, that's another 5 mana, which tells me he likely has no mana left. And I have not dropped anything since I dropped this guy, which means I'm gonna have just kind of whatever I want to do here with my cards. So I just patiently wait this out. And I know it's going to take him a little while, because right now, he's probably sitting on 1.5, 2 mana. Not a whole lot. Not to mention, if he doesn't have the card he needs in his hand to remove a big card here, then I'm also at a great advantage there. So again, I'm not concerned with the damage I'm taking. I'm concerned with the damage I'm dealing and what I'm doing to the opponent. So what I do here is I drop Rathalos. Whoa, excuse me. I drop Rathalos here at a time. So what's going to happen if you look here, Bishamon is a lot closer to my unit, if you pay attention to the numbers, than I am to him. So I dropped it at a time so where Bishamon will end up killing himself right before my Rathalos ends up hitting face. So I can hopefully, so that way I don't worry about hitting this card, because I don't want to remove it, because I already know it's going to die just from the interaction here. So I'll either take out the Cerberus, or I'll do a good amount of damage to the vial up top, preferably Cerberus in this case, because it can give me perfect damage. So I go ahead, and because of the Rathalos drop, I pick up Shinku Hadouken right away. So what that allows me to do now is completely just take control of this board. With Shinku Hadouken, I'm able to remove the vial. With Bishamon running into my Rathalos, absolutely just completely removes the Bishamon, and then the only card that's going to be left is the Cerberus here, which will instantly die because of the hit he took earlier from Guy to my ability from Rathalos. So now I have complete board control, and the only option ever that Wesker will have is either going to be Sample Collection, which is a 5 MP cost, which means that is a lot of mana he's not going to be able to play a unit with, and as well, or an Obliteration. Those are the only 2 options without playing a unit on the board that he could remove this card with right now, because even if he gets Dark Destruction, it will not work on Rathalos. So this is why I say Rathalos, if you can get good timing on it, is extremely dangerous against Wesker, and it really puts him in the hole. So yeah, I'm down health right now, but it doesn't matter. So I go ahead, and he drops the Arkham, and it doesn't matter really in that situation which one I take out. He goes ahead and plays the Gathered Souls to get a revenge unit in his hand. And right now, we can just save up. We don't really need to do a whole lot. but we can keep our Rathalos in line here as long as we keep him alive. That's the only important factor right now. So he keeps dropping these cards. So I know he dropped the Arkham. That's 6. That's 6 MP, which tells me he finally built up the MP he needed. However, didn't pull a card he needed to remove this. So that's very useful for us. I dropped the guy here in front, took the brunt of the damage a little bit from that Arkham, but then the Rathalos did kill him, so that gives me another advantage here. Now this is where saving up the MP ends up coming in really handy. So he drops this Tyrant here that he really wants to keep on the field. However, I'm actually able to remove it right now because of the Dread King Rathalos card I have in my hand.
Prepare yourself.
Oh, sorry, wrong card. The Dragon Lord's Judgment. So he goes ahead and decides to eat him. I just let it happen because I know I don't have a choice. And even if he eats him, as long as these 2 cards hit, that means he's only going to really have gained 2 health from that. And by using that card, I had all this mana. And my Ryu is also going to start getting a little buff here. I need to make sure I use action cards to get my Ryu strong. So again, same situation. He drops this card after my Rathalos has already done his damage. And hopefully he can go ahead and take out the Arkham. Now we want him to take this Arkham out right here. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way. We get the weak one down here. We really wanted this one because he's going to collide with my Rathalos now and remove him. So that's just part of the game. That's just part of the luck. But now we're in a nice position. We still have we got some pressure on him, and we have massive amounts of MP in comparison to him. So this is where we can really just start to get ahead. I go ahead and I drop a Overdrive of Ostrich here because I know he has no Dark Destruction up top. So nothing I have to worry about at all in that situation. And he drops the zombie. Again, I don't really have to worry too much about the zombie there. Not much of a threat. So I can just let him remove, and I'm already back here at max MP. And I've still had full control of this board, which is really nice. Again, control is very important. However, at this point, we only have 2 minutes left in the game. I have removed a lot of powerful cards. However, I need to start ending this soon because I know if I don't, I'm gonna lose. So I go ahead and I'm just sitting here waiting to see what he does. He hasn't done anything, so I go ahead and drop my Overdrive Ostrich here. Now he has the Dark Destruction ready. However, he knows if these guys clash, he wins, right? So all it takes is if they clash with each other, my Overdrive Ostrich will win. Or sorry, Bishman wins, but Bishman will only be down to 1 health. However, very important here, I have a lady in hand. Very dangerous card, like I had stated earlier. And we can go ahead and drop it here. To remove that Bishamon before taking any damage. Now again, now he's got to deal with this lady once again. And what does he do? I force him to use a complete removal card, which is great. So this is why this is good. He uses Obliteration here to remove the lady because that's his option. That is the best chance he has. So doing so, what this is going to allow me to do is again use my sneak attack here, which is going to just boost my Ryu, which is really good. So now I can see here, he has no mana up at the top, and I have almost 4. So I'm in another great advantage here. And I'm able to keep applying pressure as needed. So in this situation, it can get tough because this is where he, like I said, he will start getting some units here. But this is where I'll be able to finish this off really hard because this unit only has 2 health. And he just drops 2 mana right away very quickly. So it tells me, okay, he's on no mana again. So what I'm able to do is because my Fate Defying Ryu here has Rush and an ability, and I've used 2 MP cards this entire game because of Sneak Attack and Dragon Lord's Judgment, I'm actually able to remove this card without ever actually interacting with it. So I drop it, instantly hit for 3 damage here, which is very big. I go ahead and now what I'm doing at this point, which you can't see, I'll show you here. So he goes ahead and decides, okay, I'm going to remove your Ryu here. I'm like, okay, well, I have the Chain Fire. So Chain Fire is going to do 1 here. Not optimal, not what I would have wanted, but I need to use abilities I need to get out of my hand, and it's only going to cost me 1 MP. And I'm going to be very close to having another Shinko Hadouken, which is actually really important right now. So what I want, because now I have 2 Volvidons in hand, I really want him to drop a card before this ever actually hits me here. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. So I have to play the Volvidon. I can't take damage at this point. But with 2 Shinku Hadoukens, I'm actually able to keep. What I'm able to do here is keep just holding my Shinku Hadouken over here in case I just need to completely remove a card off the field, which I do right here. because I know right now, after this, he can only take one more hit at left. So, even if these units collide here, as long as I can get him to use this Dark Destruction, I have a BB Hood in hand who has Rush, and I can just drop her for the win. I just have to be patient and wait this out. So this is actually really good that he drops this card here, because what this is going to allow me to do is make a really very big vital play. It's going to allow me to drop a Volvidon here in the middle, which will do 3 damage to his Arkham, which will allow me to also drop a Lagia Cruise, and that's going to remove his Arkham. So what that'll do is now he's going to have to be in a defensive position, because I have 2 units on the field. He's going to have to remove one of them with his Dark Destruction. So I do that. The effect deals 2 damage on victory to his Arkham. I'm able to drop the Laggy Cruise, and now I have 2 units on the field he now has to deal with. He has Dark Destruction. However, because I have the Shin Hadouken and he's only ever dropped 1 Tyrant, I know he cannot drop a card here at this moment that has more HP than what my Shin Hadouken has. So he goes ahead and drops the Obliteration there. He knows he has to remove that card. And again, I'm still in a commanding position right now because there's not a whole lot of time left. Now, this is where really it's just super important. This is where timing and skill come into the play more than anything else in this position. So I know right now he doesn't have Dark Destruction. He's 5 AP away from it. All he's probably going to have left at this point mostly is Revenge cards. So I know he's not going to be able to get to that 5 AP really quickly. So I get the BB Hood here, and I know this BB Hood is going to basically be able to win the game as long as I execute what I need to right. And I'll show you the execution right now. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually holding Shinku Hadouken right now because I know I need to remove this card, right? So what I don't want to do is I don't want to chance letting go of it and just hitting the OK button to let the action phase go. I'm holding on to it, and that way I can just keep it hovered over the Cerberus here because I have a very small window of when I can use it, and I need to time it perfectly so he cannot drop another card so I can get the win here. So I wait till the last second, so my arrow is nearly inside his damage number there. Drop the Shinku Hadouken, and he's not able to respond fast enough. And that allows me to get the win. So very close game. You just need to, basically the main thing is you do have to be aggressive. I wasn't overly aggressive in that matchup. However, we're going to start moving on to what the Ouroboros match, see how that looks. But it gives you an idea of what to deal with. We're going to kind of just go through this one really quick. I play more aggressive. I know he has Ouroboros, so I just drop the guy pretty quickly here. He's got a Bishamon down to defend. Again, kind of the same thing as last time. Just trying to make smart trades here. Doing what I need to do. Very important stuff here. Game just progressing as normal. Just doing what I can. Keeping the aggression. Dropping cards when I need to. Now this is where it gets really important right here. So I have to drop an Axle because I don't have a choice. And this is probably the most important part of the matchup here. So I have Shinku Hadouken ready to go. And I know, because this is a Wesker with Ouroboros, he wants to drop most likely a Devil Joe card. Now, Shinku Hadouken is pretty much a necessity. You need to pay attention to his AP in the top right, because once that hits 22, you need to expect to see a Devil Joe come out, and you need to be able to use Shinku Hadouken on it as soon as you can, because you cannot leave that card on the field. It is far too dangerous. So he goes ahead and plays summon minions, and I'm able to use the sneak attack nicely. And there goes his false throne, and now his AP is ready to go. And he's going to be able to drop a Devil Joe if he needs to. Now this is where I actually love Axel as a character, because this is great value. Watch how I play this out. I play this out probably 90% of the time against Devil Joes. I instantly know it's coming. So what I do is I drop the Shinku Hadouken, and again, this is where skill comes into play. I drop the Shinku Hadouken. Instantly, I know Axel's going to be able to remove him from the field because I've done this hundreds of times. Removes him. Devil Joe's no longer on the field, and he's removed. Again, no worry there, and I now have Axel on the field on both top and bottom. So And now I'm able to get the advantage and just kind of keep pressuring the game and just have it go on as normal for the most part. Now, there are matchups, though, where you will find Wesker players who actually refuse to use their Devil Joe, and they will actually just never use them, hoping you are forced to use your Shinkoduken, and then they will drop them. So that's actually more dangerous than summoning Devil Joe, is the pressure of, if I use my Shinkoduken to remove anything, you will actually take me out. So anyway, everybody, hopefully that explains a little bit of the Ryu-Wesker matchup and helps both of you play better on both the Wesker matchup and the Ryu matchup on what you guys need to do. So Ryu just needs to be pressured to make good trades. Wesker really just needs to get a lot of those revenge cards out and just really pressure Ryu, because when there's too many cards, he can't do anything. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Remember, hit the subscribe button, like me on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, you name it, and I will see you next time.